Top of the morning to you, and you're welcome to the Friday edition of Dominion Sport right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Trust me, this wonderful morning we'll be taking into world of sport from the local front, looking at the fixtures to look forward to from the MPFL. Also, we'll be giving you update from Sporting Lagos as they secured the promotion to the MPFL. Also, we'll give you an update from the world of the Premier League. Is showdown, the final showdown, to see who's going to nick it through to the final day of the season between Arsenal and Manchester City. Also, we have Chelsea welcoming Manchester United. Also, we'll give you an update from the world of the athletics and also more stories surrounding the world of sport this wonderful morning. I am Paul Abbey Toluwanimi, and I'm not alone in the studio. I have the Queen of Sport joining me this wonderful morning, Mabuba, ready to talk sport with me. Top of the morning to you, and you look amazing, and you're ready to talk sport with me.
I am definitely. Yeah. Thank you very much for having me, Toluwanimi. It's great to be here, and it's. We didn't actually have the time to actually discuss a number of stuff over the week, and I actually miss being here because there are lots of activities to talk about from the NPFL, the EPA, and also the recent update from the world of athletics involving Ofili. So there's a lot to talk about, and I'm just excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. All
right, beautiful. Just like we do right here, we're going to start off from the local front to give you an update from the NPFL. Also, let me inform you that on yesterday we gave an update of predicting, your top 4 finish and your top bottom finish, and you stand a chance to win something on the show. So we're giving out the sum of 50,000 naira. We're going to share it for 5,000 naira each. For 10 persons or 20 persons, whatever the 50,000 naira can go. But let me inform you that you can be part of it by just dropping your prediction, your top 4 finish in the MPFL and your top 4 bottom finish in the MPFL. Just make sure you're following Dominion Television on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you drop your prediction. Remember, you cannot edit any of your predictions because we have we have scrutiny going into that method to make sure that we have winners and go home to win something fantastic. Let's move away from that. Let's talk about the MPFL showdown to look forward to. It's getting quite intense in the MPFL match day 35. We have Wiki Tourists, so we're going to play Bendon Insurance. We have Abia Warriors are going to welcome Ikorodu City. We have Plateau United against Kun Khalifa. We have Wari Wolves against Nasarawa United. We have El Kanami Warriors against Shooting Stars. We have Katsina United going to play home to Bayelsa United. We have Kwara United welcoming Barao FC. We have Kano Pillars playing to Rivers United. We have Raymond Stars, Niger Tornadoes. Rangers International are going to play Eyimba Football Club of Aba. Fantastic. Let's start off from the last game. When it comes to the MPF for match 35, Rangers International are going to play Eyimba FC.
Okay, you see, we discussed a couple of days ago that even Eyimba can actually find themselves in relegation if they do not get the job done. Really. You see, they are basically just 3 points, away from relegation. They are 43 points now, and, the teams that are currently at relegation are currently 40 points. And we also have Rangers, who used to be at the top of the table, but for a couple of matches, and now they currently find themselves in second. So I'll say that these two sides, coupled with the fact that we do not have a lot of matches at the NPFL anymore, and today is match day 35. Just 3 matches left. So if Rangers do not defeat Eyimba, they actually stand a chance of losing their stronghold on the NPFL title because Rivers are still ahead of them with 2 points. And we also have Eyimba. If they do not manage to secure a win, they might just find themselves among the teams who are avoiding relegation for the MPF, and that indeed is going to be very, very shocking for a team that has avoided relegation for majority of the season, now finding themselves at relegation when the season is just about to end. So I do think that this is one of the matches that I can't wait to see the turnout, and that match that I can't wait to see the turnout itself is a match between Shooting Stars and El Kanemi Warriors because we mentioned that Shooting Stars, they lose away, they win at home. And I actually was thinking that they were going to secure a win when they went against Remo Stars because they actually came close to doing it. But then they came on their own soil and they drew two, I think. But that is shocking in itself. So I love the fact that there is so much intensity, and despite the fact that there isn't so many matches left now, the intensity is high, the momentum is high. So if anything should slip down, the consequence will be severe. So for Rangers, for Eyimba, they stand a chance to beat relegation. For Rangers, they could lose their stronghold. And for Shooting Stars, who are fighting to actually go to the continental, to play in Africa, if they don't manage to secure a win against El Kanemi, and that in itself is difficult because when they play away, and even El Kanemi is not a team whereby we can underestimate because they've actually played a number of top teams in the MPFL this season. They've actually had, let's say, I think 12 wins on their home and 13 in total. So it is tough, and I'll say that Shooting Stars will have a chance to secure a draw in this encounter when they go against the Academy Warriors. I'm just hoping that they'll be able to manage and secure that draw. But it's going to be a tough encounter, definitely.
Let's just look at home teams and away team this season. It's quite difficult, especially if you're going away to play football. And you look at Rangers International on their home turf, has been a fantastic team. Yes. Away from home also not bad. The last game they got a draw away from home. Now right now, Rivers United are going away from home. It's quite dicey right now when you look at Rivers United going away from home, and you look at Rangers International playing Eyimba. For you, how do you see Fidelity Ilechukwu set up a side going, to play Eyimba, who are also 13 on the log of the table, trying to fight out the, relegation. You look at, from 7th, a loss for Benden Insurance can also propel them down to relegation battle. So it's quite dicey. For you, Fidelity Ilechukwu, how do you think it's going to set up a side to pick up victory against a side like Eyimba, who are also fighting relegation?
You see, one thing I know about Rangers is that whenever they play on their home turf, as we mentioned, they'll go all in because it's more or less them asserting territorial dominance. So, and I think that Fidelity Ilechukwu is going to do the same thing when they go against Eyimba. So it's more or less making sure that his front line, they try to establish a balance between the front side and also the defense, but then the midfield itself do have a lot of work to do. They will not want to leave any aspect of, the three most important categories on the field of play. They won't want to leave any side loose, because if they keep it loose, Eyimba is definitely going to capitalize on that. So I feel that the fact that they are currently at home and they have this sense of territorial dominance, so that's actually kind of like an advantage for them. And the fact that they have a title right in front of them, just closer to them.
Now, a win for over the weekend for Rangers will prepare them. Yeah.
Because we can't exactly ascertain Rivers United's performance away from home. Because the performance away from home has mostly losses.
And they are playing Kano Pillars, who are also trying to fight relegation.
Definitely. Yeah. And one thing I know about Kano Pillars is that they fight a lot. And I do have a fear about the match with Rivers United and Kano Pillars, because we know how certain intense matches turn out when people go to House of Kano Pillars to play. We know what happened with Shooting Stars, how we turn violent, and that is a major concern that I have, because Rivers United, they know that they're going at the top of the table. They don't want to lose their stronghold on it. So if we go and play against a side that we know that things can spiral out of control, should we secure a win on their own turf, or maybe there is a disagreement with the ruling of the referee, it could turn to something else. So I do think that Rivers are definitely going to fight, but Kano Pillars who are trying to escape relegation are going to fight as well. So I just hope that even though both sides are going to fight, and maybe eventually Rivers United are able to somehow magically secure a win, although that in itself is slim, I just hope that it's not going to turn into something that is going to be, shall I say, demeaning of the reputation of the MPFL. So they're both sides are going to fight, definitely, but it is somewhat unpredictable, the outcome of the match between Kano Pillars and Rivers United.
All right. I'm wondering why are we fighting right now? Because it's just football. I'm just going to ask you, your predictions ahead of the game. Kano Pillars for Rivers, what are your predictions?
I think Rivers are going to manage to carry a draw.
A draw?
Yes.
Okay. Rangers, Eyimba?
A win for Rangers.
A win for Rangers.
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you, Shooting Stars against Academy Warriors, what's the prediction? Do you think, Shooting Stars should be able to get a victory away from home, or maybe a draw, because right now they're sitting 5th on the log of the table?
Well, Academy Warriors have suffered draws on their home turf. Yeah. Shooting Stars will be going to Academy to play, and it will be difficult for them to secure a win, because a win for Shooting Stars is just rare. I do not see it happening. Although it could happen, but looking at, the statistics on ground, it is difficult to actually say Shooting Stars are going to manage to secure a win, because we know their performance when they play away. It is somewhat distinct from what they display when they play at the Lekki Salami Stadium. So I'm thinking of this one, the most that I see Shooting Stars taking out of this encounter is a draw. But El Kanemi can still manage to secure a win on their home turf.
Okay, so now there's a team around the corner, who is trying to sneak out. We're talking Ikorodu City. Now they're going to play away to Abia Warriors. For you, do you think Ikorodu City can still, maybe a win away from home would push them to the final day of the season?
I do not see Ikorodu securing a win when they go against Eyimba on Eyimba's home turf.
You mean Abia Warriors?
I'm sorry, Abia's home turf, because this is a match between the third side and the fourth side. And I believe that it's going to be, it's more like a decider of who gets to go to Africa to play the continental competition. So it will be difficult for Ikorodu to secure a win in this encounter. I feel like the worst that can happen to Abia Warriors, it is a draw. But it is more likely than not that Abia are going to secure a win on their own turf because it's been there. We know that when it comes to Abia Warriors, they manage to secure a win. It doesn't matter the team that they're going against, they just manage to secure a win, no matter how difficult or contesting that encounter is. But for Ikorodu to go to Abia Warriors' house to secure a win, there's a slim possibility of that happening. So if, as I mentioned, even if there's going to be a shocker, Ikorodu securing a draw from that encounter is what I see. Them securing a win is less likely.
Okay. Let's just say it's going to pan out because for me, I'll just be sitting here watching the game between Ikorodu City, Rangers International, and Rivers United. Because trust me, a win for Ikorodu City and a loss for Rivers will take Ikorodu City top of the table. Now, a draw for Rangers International will still take Ikorodu City on top of the table with a win. Then you have to the table, you know, on your screen. I mean, you look at Rangers International also. A win for them will take them on top of the table. So it's the final showdown for me and one to look forward to. So why not be part of it? Drop your predictions right there ahead of this game. Kano against Rivers, Rangers against Eyimba, Abia against Ikorodu City, and we have El Kanemi Warriors against Shooting Stars Football Club. Let's move away from that and let's talk about Sporting Lagos. We have secured promotion to the MPFL, but something very disheartening happened in that game. Osun United did not allow the fans of Sporting Lagos into the pitch to watch the game. Now, let me inform you that Osun United are actually relegated. They have nothing to do. They have nothing to play for. So I'm wondering, did Aqua United give you money to frustrate, the win for Sporting Lagos? Because, a win for Sporting Lagos now kept them ahead of Aqua United. Now, if Aqua United had won that game, they will be ahead of Sporting Lagos. So we're wondering what went wrong. Now, if you can have the videos, there are videos where, the fans could not enter the pitch to watch the game. They had to stream the game. Most of the fans from Lagos were watching the game live. But finally, they got the goal. They got the win. And now they have secured promotion to the MPFL. Now, first question. What is happening with the Nigerian football? Where are we? Why do we have to go through all of this, disheartening moment where you don't allow fans to come in to watch the game of football, where fans are now threatening to say, come on, you don't have any chance to be here. And also, what does this speak for, the MPFL next season? You have Ikorodu City, you have Inter Lagos, now you have Sporting Lagos. Okay,
for the first question, the fact that a team can decide to not allow the fans of the opposition team to come into the stadium to watch matches, it is not something that is popular. It's not something that I hear about when it comes to the MPFL. And I'm wondering if the administrative head of the MPFL are aware of this. Could there have been something that is happening on the ground that we are not aware of, or is there maybe a ruling, or maybe they feel that the stadium itself is not safe enough for the fans to come? So I do not simply want to jump into conclusion that this is more or less a strategy of them to not allow the fans to support their players. There has to be something behind that. No, but Osun United fans were in the stadium. Okay, yeah, so I wish so this is the live video where the fans of Lagos were watching the game. They were so excited for the goal. But I wish you can have the video where the fans were outside the stadium and Osun United fans were in the stadium, but they didn't give them access to enter the stadium. I believe that for that to happen, only they can actually identify what exactly the problem is for them not to enter the stadium. Was it that the fans were being violent? Was it that they don't want them to go in there and cause some sort of rancor or maybe, harm or just, disarray for the, other fans that are in the stadium as well? Because it is difficult to actually identify. As I mentioned, this is not something that I have witnessed before when it comes to an MPFL match or even any other match outside Nigeria or Africa generally. So them themselves will be the ones to actually decide what exactly the problem is. Why was it that the fans were kept? And I will say that there has to be an investigation as to why this happens. We can't investigate. We do not have the power to actually say we want to carry out a private investigation of what exactly happened. So the MPFL will have to be the one to decide that, to identify what exactly went wrong. Why were the fans not allowed in? And if there was a good reason, maybe the fans were being violent, definitely, maybe that in itself can be allowed. But if there was no reason and that in itself was just a personal should I call it, displeasure at the fans going into, then definitely there should be sanctions for that. Because there is no rule in the MPFL that allows a particular club to prevent fans from coming in when exactly they have a right to actually go there to support their team. Great. So now let me also inform you that, in that game, the referee in the second half spent 21 minutes to enter the pitch to continue the game of football. So
It calls for question because right now we are wondering, we want the best for the MPFL football.
Yes.
We are clamoring for change. These are the things we want, but we are wondering what's going on. Why would the referee spend 21 minutes before he comes to the pitch for the second half of a game of football? Where everybody's watching and we're wondering what's happening. Where are we?
Okay, so the referee that spent 21 minutes away from the field
ask questions to answer to you.
Ask questions to answer. Because maybe there was some sort of, I can't picture what exactly could have gone on.
I really wish you could picture all of this right now. I just wish you could.
He could not come in to return to resume the play. If maybe he was indisposed, the referees have assistants. Someone else could have taken over the match. So for the fact that the match itself was delayed for 21 minutes, and then the same person who went back to the pitch to resume the pitch, it doesn't click. It doesn't give, should I say, a good picture of the MPFA in itself. And let's not forget
that. Even the NNL itself.
Of the NNL, exactly, of the Nigerian football generally. Because one, should I say, one bad occurrence, it's more or less a definement of the entirety in itself. So if this happened, it won't be maybe the NLL or the NPFL, but more or less Nigerian football. So that in itself as well has to be investigated. I feel the NLL and the NPFL has a lot of investigations to do for how fans were not allowed in. Now the referee had to spend over 20 minutes before returning to the field of play. So I do think that these are issues that should not be occurring when it comes to the NPFL, the NNL, and definitely it has to be resolved. I know that problems regarding the Nigerian football generally can be solved with just a flash of a pan or with just one swing of a wand or anything, but definitely it can be sorted, should I say, step by step. So definitely issues like this I mentioned needs to be investigated, and if there's a need for sanctions, definitely the sanctions should roll out. Okay,
and let me just inform those watching us globally, that Doma United has secured promotion, Sporting Lagos secured promotion, and we have Inter-Lagos also securing promotion. So you're yet to answer the other question. There you have on the screen. Thank you, my producer. Promoted to the MPFL, Doma, Inter-Lagos, and Sporting Lagos. I really wish I had the video where, so they already created the moment that when they relegated, how they're going to come back. So it looks like they saw the future already. So I want to ask you, what does this speak, to the MPFL body, and how can they, generate so much from teams from Lagos? You have Ikorodu City, you have Sporting Lagos, you have Inter-Lagos, and they say Lagos is the economy of Nigeria. How can we milk, so much from these big teams from Lagos? And remember, they are not even Lagos-based team. They are private-owned teams in Lagos.
You see, I do think that this is a huge achievement for the totality of football in Lagos, because it is not all the time that we get to see so many teams come out of a single state, which means there are a lot of derbies for football fans to watch. And with the fact that we now have Sporting Lagos, I do have, shall I say, this love or admiration for Sporting Lagos. I just love the way at least the brand is presented. And for the fact that these teams are privately owned teams, I do feel like that in itself provides more room for much investment to go into this team. And if these teams themselves, if they can actually, should I say, project themselves properly, project themselves as a brand, it can actually generate more revenue for them, because we keep talking about how we need more visibility for the teams in the NPFL, and then this time around we have teams that are privately owned teams in Lagos, and as we said, Lagos is more or less the economy of Nigeria. So I do think that this particular the fact that we have teams coming on here, it's more or less the fact that football is the major sport that we have in Nigeria, and we have so many teams playing in Lagos and are privately owned teams. I do think that in itself creates more room for revenues to be generated, not only through fan attendance, but in itself through sponsorship, through brands collaborating with these people. And if we definitely have maybe competitions that we want to host, we can definitely move the competition to Lagos. Why? Because the fans are not aware that we have teams in Lagos. These teams are privately owned. I think that some fans do have a preference for privately owned teams in the NPFL, because they believe that if it's a privately owned team, the owner of a team would definitely want to put in so much more into that club to make sure that it grows. You can always spot the difference between privately owned teams and state or federal owned teams in Nigerian football. There's just always a stark difference there. I know the fact that these teams are privately owned, and as I mentioned before, the fact that we have about 4 teams now in Lagos, the economy of Nigeria, brands should not sleep on this opportunity. Fans are going to come over to want to watch what it is like to actually watch a derby, not a Southwestern derby, but a Lagos derby in Lagos. So it creates more opportunity. Brands should not sleep on it. And you know, I just feel like it's a big achievement for Nigerian football, totally.
I agree with you. And trust me, one thing I'm going to say is that, you know, the NPFL body should also not frustrate the efforts of all of this going on right now. You know, whatever measure you also need to put in place to make sure that all these clubs are enjoying, you know, their success, their effort, their hard work, you know, securing promotion should be regulated properly. NPFL, please don't frustrate their effort. Make sure everybody enjoying football. Rules should be set properly. Let there be system working. People that want to be in the system should know, you know, the order of what the system look like. I think we're going to enjoy football next season. There you have it, the fans excited. It's all going to be exciting. I can't wait for next season. Trust me,
and
I can't wait for next season. Yeah.
They themselves, the clubs, are not going to, should I say, out of a need to generate revenue, because we know that when it comes to generating revenue in the NPFL, it's somewhat difficult. And the way through which privately owned clubs, for instance, Remo Stars get to generate revenue is through selling their top players at the beginning of, you know, before the start of a new season. So players definitely want to see the play. No, I mean fans want to see the players that actually push these teams forward for them to be in the NPFL now. So pushing these players out or selling them out is only going to dampen upon the effort that they have put in place for all of this to actually work. So selling of players is just one thing that we do not want to see. We might see a bit, but not in form of 100%.
Okay, all right. We'll be looking forward to that right there. Let's just move away from that story and let's take more from the world of athletics. And I mean, for me, that Favour Philly switch rejected. Favour Philly's bid to switch from Nigeria to Turkey has been denied by the World Athletics Federation, citing integrity concerns. The body says such move could undermine trust in national representation. She remains eligible only for Nigeria for now, pending appeal. That's the update we got yesterday, and I'm sure you're ready to dissect that story. But for me, I'm wondering, you know, if Turkey has the funds, you know, to lure athletes down, why not just grow your system? Why not just grow, you know, your grassroots system? Why not just allow, you know, young athletes to thrive? Why just bring in? And also, I can understand the fact that the trust issue where, you know, if we're lowering you right now, then another country also can lower you to come represent them. Now, not just only Favour Philly, we have 5 Kenyans, we have 2 Jamaicans, and other countries also rejected. 11 athletes rejected, you know, by Turkey. But here we're talking Favour Philly.
Okay, so the thing is that I really think we should look at this issue from 2 sides.
Okay.
We have a country that wants to thrive in athletics. We have, you know, certain athletes who want to leave, you know, a decaying system. Favour Philly, when I got to know about her, she has always been, you know, a favored athlete when it comes to Nigeria. But if you take a look at what happened at the 2024 Olympics, the fact that she could not represent because the AFN did not register, and that is not something. It happened twice.
Yeah,
twice.
Honestly, I was talking yesterday with, you know, David. I'm like, it's omission. We are talking. Just put my name down. That's what we are saying. Come on, man.
If you look at it, Ophili is not the only athlete that has left, you know, Nigeria to represent another country. I think back in the early 2000s, a particular athlete left Nigeria to represent Portugal, and he said that if I should remain here, my career is going to die. Lots of athletes, we have them whereby if people get the opportunity to actually leave Nigeria to go play in another country and represent another country, they will gladly embrace it. And that's exactly what we're saying in the NPFL as well. Why do you think players are always in a hurry for them to be spotted by other, you know, by other top countries or other top clubs outside? It's because they know that when they get to play on an international level that is not Nigerian, they get the opportunity. When it comes to Ophili still has the opportunity to actually appeal that case in CAS. And personally, I do hope that that appeal goes through. But see, because if we're being realistic, if we take a look at it from, you know, a moral point of view and from an humane point of view, we get to spot that her representing Nigeria does not benefit her. If you take a look at what happened at, I think that the World Athletics last time when Toby Amuson was playing, I think palliative given to them by AFN, right? We saw what was given to them. We saw what America gave to their own athletes. So there was a stark difference. The NSC has the money. The budget was increased by over 100%. I think last year was 113 billion naira, but this year was 203 billion naira. So we do have the money, right? Even though it is not enough. But at the same time, I do think that I really, really want Ophili's, appeal to go through by CAS. Because if you take a look at the situation of athletes representing Nigeria, Nigerians representing Nigeria by themselves, they do not actually grow through the system. They grew despite the system. And these are people that are trying to represent their country, make a name for themselves. And then they have the country they are representing who are somewhat putting them down and dampening whatever it is they've contributed over the years. So personally, it is not fair. And when we take a look at this thing realistically, at the same time, it is ridiculous. I do want Ophili's appeal to go through because she has put in a lot for Nigeria and for Nigerians as well. I know quite a number of Nigerians are going to agree with our appeal to the CAS going through. So, yeah, if she thinks that being in Nigeria, the fact that what happened to Adore Dolimi is going to happen again, it doesn't benefit her, then why else should she stay and represent that same country?
I agree. So I'm just going to agree with that statement because even CAS right now, I'll be asking, so why do you want to move? And I will tell you, it's clear. There are lots of reasons. There's so many reasons I just want to live here. They are not helping the situation right now, and I still want to, do what I love to do when it comes to the world of athletics. But we hope for the very best, and we'll be giving you more updates from that story from the world of athletics. Let's move away from that, and let's talk about the Premier League showdown on Sunday and also on Saturday. But we are going to watch, a video where the Queen of Sport, went to the street to ask fans, footballing fans, what they expect ahead of the game between Manchester City at the Etihad against the Arsenal at the Gunners. We'll be back to discuss that right here on Dominion Sports.
I'm Salahuddin, and this is Dominion Sports. And today we're doing something quite special. We're currently out on the streets of Ibadan to ask people, especially football lovers, what they think about Arsenal's current form of the season and if they believe Arsenal can still lift the EPL title. So let's find out what people think.
I don't think so, actually.
Why?
I do not see them winning because checking their last game, they really struggled with the winning at the Champions League. Even in the league game, they lost. I think the morale of the players are down, then the energy is no more there, and I think they are suffering with injuries, a lot of injuries right now.
All right.
So I think they are kind of weak.
All right.
It's all like maybe.
Okay.
I'm there for Arsenal to win, and I believe that Arsenal may not.
Okay, what's in shape?
For me, I think there are a lot of chance for Arsenal to win the big league.
So you are saying that they can still win despite five and Man City are still behind you?
Yes, there are a lot of chance for them to win it. Yes, definitely.
Why do you say so?
It is not over until it is over. Arsenal is not going to lose on Sunday. We are winning that game. All we need from entrepreneurship is over.
Sir, bí Arsenal ṣe ń lọ ní season yìí, ó yẹ pé match mẹ́fà pé wọ́n ní season yìí. Ó yẹ kó Man City náà wà lẹ́yìn, wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rò pé Arsenal ṣì lè win ní pé Premier League title ní season yìí.
Wọ́n á lè gbà.
So now the question is that if Arsenal does not eventually win the EPL this season, most people think that Arteta should remain at the job or he should leave.
Yeah, I've always shared this part of mind that even if he does not win anything this season, he still deserves the job.
Why?
The Arsenal team is not just a team that anyhow manager can just come and make match. I am not against that Arteta should not start. And I'm not against that it should stay. It depends on the board, their decision. If they want to retain him, he's a very good coach. I want to share with you.
Okay.
And if they want him to go and get another coach, it's all well and good.
Sir, Arsenal must still Sunday, your prediction.
My prediction for Sunday tournament between Arsenal and Man City is just 2-0.
Who's with Man City or Arsenal?
No, my club now.
Arsenal.
Yes, to win, yes.
Yeah, Man City is getting
Scoreline? 3-0.
Beautiful. There you have it, the fans on the street giving us their prediction and what they expect ahead of that game between Manchester City and Arsenal. Well, I'm surprised that, you asked the Manchester United fan, what were you expecting from Manchester United fan? Honestly, let's just be honest. He wore a Manchester United jersey and he said Arsenal, don't look like a team we're going to win. You asked also, should Mikel Arteta stay on the job? Were you expecting him to say he should go? Because it wasn't their failure, actually. But it is what it is. And, great to see the fans, drop their predictions right there. Let's just go straight into the tactics and the technique to expect from that game. Manchester City are not under pressure. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So, it's Arsenal right now. It's all to play for them. How do you think Mikel Arteta would need to set up his side going into this game at the Etihad Stadium, knowing that a win for Manchester City open up the title to the final end of the season, having that Manchester City still have a game in hand in this title race?
You see, I feel that there are a number of things that are currently against Arsenal. They currently have, a number of injuries, Saka being out, Calafiori being out, Merino being out. And then if we take a look at it, as I mentioned earlier, and I will always say that I feel that Arsenal are currently at that point of the season whereby things are not going their way, and they are losing hold of what exactly they've held on to from the beginning of the season. And then we have City, who are not under pressure, who believe that City are under pressure, who believe that Arsenal are under pressure, and that's in itself creates some sort of level of confidence. So I do think that for the match between Arsenal and City, coupled with the fact that Arsenal are going to be heading down to the Etihad Stadium to play City, it's not going to be easy for Arsenal. And more or less, I do kind of see Manchester City securing a win in this encounter. I don't see Arsenal managing to take anything away from this game. It's going to be very, very difficult for them. And we've already always seen most times the tussle between Arteta and Guardiola, and we know who always comes out on top. And if you take a look at Arsenal's current situation right now, I do think that for Arsenal, though, for them to be able to pull up a fight against this Manchester City side that is not under pressure, that has a game at hand, and that are going into this match with a lot of confidence, is definitely going to, should I say, move back a bit from the approach that is always utilized when it comes to when they played against Sporting, because it is more or less there wasn't a lot of intensity, and we understand why there isn't a lot of intensity. A number of players from Arsenal who are top players are actually down with injuries, so I do think that the odds in itself are naturally against Arteta. So Arteta himself, I feel that parking the bus, adopting a defensive approach is not going to do so much good, because City are definitely going to find a way to penetrate that defense, to find a way to score. So it's more or less him trying to establish a balance between that front line and the defense. Arsenal still needs to push forward, no matter what, even though we know very well that City are coming into this one, they're going to come in hard, because this is more or less title decider. Whoever wins this match is more likely the person that is going to go all the way to win the EPL title. We've seen that happen. I think back in 2022-23 season, I think City secured, I think, a 4-1 win against Arsenal, and they went on to win that title. If that should happen again this time around, Arsenal can might as well forget about the title. So Arteta has a lot of work to do. We know that the resources are currently, the odds are against in terms of the resources, but still he needs to make do of what he has, and
go ahead.
He needs to make do of what he has, and if he can manage to secure a draw, as that Arsenal fan mentioned, then that maybe eventually they can still hold on to the rest of the match they're still going to play. Perhaps we can actually see Arsenal securing the EPL title and finally break that jinx of City always coming from behind and just, trampling upon all that they built from the beginning of the season.
I agree. So I'm just going to ask you, just two questions as we wrap up the show. Looking at that on the screen right now, I'm wondering, how did Manchester City get to this stage? Because there were seasons where it was 12 points, seasons where it was 15 points, seasons where it was, looked like it's over, it's just all Arsenal, and we have Pep Guardiola, who has the mentality of a champion, nicking it trigger. I'm going to ask you, what should be the mentality for Arsenal going into this game? And also, which players do you think, could change the game for both Manchester City and Arsenal? Okay,
you see, for the question that you mentioned, we all know that it's Pep Guardiola. And we've seen this happen before, maybe not to the point of Man City being far off from the top of the table. But we've seen City come from behind to come and eventually win the EPL title. They did the same thing when they went against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. They won. Everyone thought maybe City is going to be like a tough encounter, but City came, they triumphed eventually. And if we take a look at it, if we take a look at the set of players at City, if we take a look at the players at Arsenal, the players at City do have this winning mentality. These are players that have been under pressure, who have managed to come from behind and eventually win. And then we have Arsenal, who maybe, should I say, it's somehow traumatic. The fact that they've always come close but still eventually miss off. And the fact that the media always, there's always something that people get to talk about over and over. And then when something is being talked about and being pushed into their face that you need to do this, it sets this level of pressure upon them, and their reaction towards that is what we see that comes around the season over and over.
So if you're Mikel Arteta right now, Mabuba, what are you telling the players at the Etihad on Sunday? What are you telling them? What needs to change on the pitch? I want to know what needs to change on the pitch for them if they're to go against Manchester City.
If they are to go against Manchester City
and pick the victory,
and
yeah, come on,
they need
the victory. That's it. They need the victory. Yes, what are you telling them?
But them getting that victory is hard. It is almost impossible for them to secure that victory, because if they are going to attack, City themselves are not going to most likely allow them to penetrate that defense. They are still going to definitely find the way to tighten their back and not allow Arsenal to go in. And then we look at City's front line. We have, maybe Haaland hasn't been himself this time around, and we also have Odin over there. But this set of players, we also have Dokutu. So these players know how to win. They are going to go all in. And Arsenal's defense, although Arsenal's defense is somewhat tight, they tend to adopt a defensive approach. I do think that if Arsenal can strike a balance, more of a defense than an attack, they could manage to secure a draw by that Manchester City attack. So I do think, as I mentioned, Arteta still needs to, I think his defensive approach might become vital when they go against the City side that is always attacking and always pushing forward. The defense time will become vital, but at the same time, they need to try to score. But they must not forget the back that, we need to hold this defense tighter than more than we actually move forward. So I do think that, as I mentioned, a draw is what I see Arsenal picking up from this encounter, coupled with the fact that they'll be going to the Etihad to play against City on their home front. So, yeah.
Okay. If I'm Mikel Arteta, you're going to ask me the question. I hope that, thank you so much, my producer. If I'm Mikel Arteta going into the game against Manchester City, I'm going to tell the players, you have bottled it before, you can bottle again.
Don't do that.
All right, let's take the final story. We have Chelsea, Manchester United to look forward to right there on Saturday. We have other fixtures also to look forward to on Saturday. But we have some results from yesterday's game, the Europa and the Conference League. It's going to be Nottingham Forest, it's going to be Crystal Palace, it's going to be Aston Villa. The Premier League teams are thriving when it comes to European football. Arsenal also are still in the competition. And, that's just to look forward to. But let me just inform you again, wrapping up the show, that you can be a winner to the final end of the season when it comes to the MPFL. Just predict your top 4 finish and your top bottom finish, and you stand a chance to win something right here. Courtesy the team of Dominion Sport. So make sure you drop your predictions, but make sure you follow and make sure you subscribe, make sure you drop your comment and don't edit. Let it just be that prediction and you stand a chance to win something at the end of the season. This is where we draw the curtain on today's show. I want to say big thank you to everyone that watched us across the world, also to the producer, to the crew. I say big thank you for making us go global when it comes to Dominion Sport right here on Dominion Television. Mabuba, I want to say big thank you to you. That was top-notch analysis across the world of sport right here on the menu this wonderful morning. Till we see you again on Monday. They say football for actions. Definitely the weekends would be for you just to enjoy the actions. I will be back here on Monday to give you reactions across the world of sports. Stay connected, stay blessed, and bye for now.